So back in our C# backend, so far we have been storing these different birthdays of different people in as part of dummy data in a in-memory collection. So we'll remove this dummy data population now, and instead we will gather data from the intent that we just wrote, the add birthday intent, and populate that list by voice command. To do that, we'll have to make one additional change. So currently we just have name, date of birth, and the day of year. However, if you are using this skill by yourself, no one else is using, that works fine. However, when we are releasing this skill where multiple people will be using it, we'll also have to store an identifier of the user ID who is storing the birthday. Otherwise, if I add birthday of John, you will be able to access that, right? So to do that, we'll go back to our birthday.cs class, which is our model class, and add another property called user ID. So I just add another property here. Now where we will get this user ID from, right? So if you have noticed, if you go to the JSON, which gets generated, every time what the application does is it gives you a user ID here, which is nothing but a unique identifier of the user, okay, of the Amazon account, which is actually using the skill. So there's nothing but a long string that is unique for every Amazon user. So we will store this when we are storing the birthday as well. So let's start coding in the controller, handle this new intent. So I will just copy this from here and call it add birthday intent. So here to add the birthday, we will have to again add another method in this in-memory implementation. I'll call that method add birthday. So this will be the signature of our method. I will return Boolean if the operation was successful so that we can respond that back to Alexa. So what we will do here is we will put a try catch block. Okay. For in-memory, things are very unlikely that it will fail, but later on, if we enhance the skill to actually support storage in database, there might be failures. So we'll have to handle that. So if there's any exception, we will say, we'll just return false. Okay. And inside try, the only thing that we will do is birthdays dot add, and if everything goes fine, we will return true. Okay, so that's all we need to write here. So we will copy this and put it in our interface as well. So this is our data provider interface. So this is another new method that we added. Now let's go back to the controller. In the controller, we already have the provider. So we will say provider dot add birthday. So before that, I need to make the birthday object from the request. So I'll create a variable birthday. I hope I've not used this name anywhere. Okay. So here we have the intent request, right? So intent request dot. So if you see here, you will have the intent and there you have the slots. So the slot that we are interested in, we can again refer to the request structure. So inside intent, we are interested in the slot called birthday and the slot called name. So birthday will have the date. So first we will access the name slot dot slot value dot value. Okay, so this is the string value that we'll get. We will store this inside this object's name property. Next, what we do is we need to set the date of birth. So what we'll do is birthday dot date of birthday equal to, so we'll have to convert this to a date time object, right? So what we'll do is datetime dot parse, and it will take a string value inside it. So I will copy this again and paste it here. So here, instead of the name, we will use the birthday property or the slot name. Okay, so now we have the date of birthday. So once date of birthday is set, we will also have to set the day of year, because that's what we are going to use for sorting when we are trying to find out the next birthday. So day of year equal to, I will take this and I will call the day of year property. Now we added that new property where we are storing the user ID. To this user ID, we will say input. Inside that, we have this session. Inside session, we have user, and inside user, we have user ID. Now, once this object is all set, we will call our provider method to actually store the data. Provider dot add birthday. Here we will pass the student object. I'm sorry. Here we'll pass the birthday object. Now, this is giving us a response. So we'll store this response in a Boolean called success. Okay. And read this value to send a response back to Alexa. So now what we'll do is we'll just copy paste this if else block, paste it here, and we'll say if success, then in output we'll say birthday added. So I'll remove this and say great birthday. Okay. And if there's a failure, we'll say sorry, could not add that birthday. Please try again. And we'll say that in this situation, I don't want the session to end. So I'll copy paste this as well. Okay. We had missed adding that when we added the named birthday. I will just copy paste this here as well. So this one already has that. So we are good. Okay. So that's it. We will now test it. Okay, so one thing that we still need to do. So in named birthday and in the next birthday, we are again not checking the user ID parameter, right? So far it was not a problem because we had some dummy records and we assumed that we are the only user. So here we'll say we'll pass the user ID here, and these methods should only search records against my user ID. Okay, so we will change these methods a little bit. So we'll go to the interface here and say that we will pass a string type user ID in this method, and same for this one when we are trying to search for the name. So we'll say string type user ID. So now that we have the user ID, we'll put it to correct use. Now in the implementation, we will go and say string type user ID, and wherever we have our queries, we will add this clause to it. So here we have our first query. We'll say and b.userid is equal to user ID. So here first we are ordering, but ordering can only happen by one parameter. So what I will do is I will add here dot where b.userid is equal to user ID. So this will find all my records, and then I will order it based on the day of year. Now in the next one, so in the get birthday method by name, we will add this parameter now, string type user ID. And what we'll do is when we are searching for it, we will add that condition as well. Okay. So so this whole thing goes inside braces, and I will add the condition here saying that b.user ID is equal to user ID and this. Okay, so that should do the work. Just to make sure that we don't have anything here, we are fine. Okay, we are good to go. So let's now run it locally and try to test that. So it gave me a build error. Let me go check. So what we need to do is we need to pass the user ID in both these methods wherever we are calling it. So what I will do is, so I will just copy the user ID out on the top into a different variable right here and use this everywhere. So I will pass this here because user ID will always be there with the request. So here we'll pass this. Okay. So now let's try to run this again. So now we are in Swagger. We'll try it out from here and call this. Okay. So before we call this, let me put a breakpoint just to check how the flow is working. Add birthday intent. I'll put a breakpoint here. We triggered the request. Now we move forward. So it gave me a runtime error saying that inside slots, I'm not getting that value. Okay, under name. Oh, okay. So I use the slot value instead of the value field. So I will change that. So I will say slot dot value. Okay. So this itself gives us the slot value. So we don't need to give slot value again. So now let me run this again. So here I hit on post, try it out, test it again. So now we are getting the value for name, and we are able to get the birthday also. Day of year also gets calculated as 359. User ID is set to the string value that we are getting. That's okay. And we are trying to add this. Now the value is true. It's a success. So we'll run this. Let's head back to Swagger and check the response. So great, birthday added. So one last thing that we have not handled here is the confirmation, right? So if the intent confirmation was not given, if the confirmation was denied, we don't want to add that birthday. Instead, we want to send a message to user, right? So we will do it upfront when the intent arrives. So what we will do is if intent request dot intent dot confirmation status. So this confirmation status is a string again, okay, is equal to denied Then we will say, so we'll copy this and paste it here, and we'll say, okay, operation cancelled, please try again. And in the else part, we will do all this thing that we just coded for till this point, because even if user denies, we don't want to kick him out of the application. So we'll keep the session on, but addition part will only do if we get a confirmation. One last thing, I will just double check whether this is indeed denied or not. And this should be in capital. Okay. So I'll just make it caps and we should be good to go. So that's all we had for this intent. And to wrap up our skill, I also added this stop intent. It's very simple. I'm just returning an output speech saying that goodbye, see you soon. And in this case, I'm marking should end session equal to true because user is exiting from the skill. I also added a default case in the switch case, which is handling different intents. This is to handle scenarios where user is selecting a help intent or some other intent which we have not implemented, because there are quite a few intents like cancel, help, navigate home, etc., which we have not implemented. To handle that, I just put this block of code. Here what I'm saying is, sorry, I'm still learning that. Please try again later. In this case, I'm keeping the session open. Okay, so with that, we conclude our skill development here. So let's go ahead and publish the skill. And this time, let's test on a real Echo device. So the publish succeeded. Okay, so now that our skill is already and deployed on Azure, let's do some real testing on the device. And this time, as I said, I will be using my Echo.device to do some real testing on the device itself. So I've listed down all the features and all the dialogues that our skill supports now. So we'll be testing each one of those and see how our skill is responding to it and whether it has any issues. So let's get started with the testing. Alexa, start birthday tracker.
Hello, welcome to Birthday Tracker. I can help you tracking birthdays.
When is the next birthday?
Sorry, no birthdays found.
Add birthday.
Tell me the name of the person.
Mark.
Please tell me when is the next birthday for Mark.
22nd January.
I am adding Mark with next birthday on January 22nd, 2022. Is that correct?
Yes.
Great. Birthday added.
When is the birthday of Mark?
Birthday of Mark is on January 22nd, 2022.
Add birthday.
Tell me the name of the person.
Tim.
Please tell me when is the next birthday for Tim.
November 12th.
So, just to confirm, we are adding a birthday record for Tim on 2021-11. Is that correct?
No.
Okay, operation cancelled. Please try again.
Add birthday.
Tell me the name of the person.
Tim.
Please tell me when is the next birthday for Tim.
November 12th.
So, just to confirm, we are adding a birthday record for Tim on November 12, 2021. Is that correct?
Yes.
Great. Birthday added.
When is the next birthday?
The next birthday is of Tim on November 12, 2021.
When is the birthday of Mary?
Sorry, no birthdays found.
Help.
Sorry. I am still learning that. Please try later.
Stop.
Goodbye. See you soon.
Alexa, start birthday tracker.
Hello, welcome to Birthday Tracker. I can help you tracking birthdays.
When is the next birthday?
The next birthday is of Tim on November 12, 2021.
So that's it. It passed all the tests that we threw at it. So that's great. So now we can finally call our skill already. Till now, the testing that you have been doing on your own device under your own account. Next, we will see how we will enable beta testing on the skill and how you can invite your friends to test the skill. You will have 90 days to get feedback from them and incorporate those or make bug fixes as your friends report. And also in the next video, we'll talk about some areas of improvement, how we can make the skill even better, and also some of the next steps going forward. So join me in the next video and we'll talk about these.